I have so many questions about charts and no one to help me. If only there was a place I could go to learn which doesn't cost a fortune.
There is such a place. It's my Patreon. It's £7.50 a month and you get 2 live streams a week. Ask me anything you like about any chart that you want.
What about trading platforms?
Well, in the video description I've got a link for all the best ones and you can get up to 20% off all your trading fees for life.
Thanks CryptoClick, you demand bro.
Hello everybody, welcome back. We're going to look at EOS. That's right, we're going to do it. So take what I say with a pinch of salt because EOS loves dumping, loves it. But again, it does like to respond to signals. And so this is something we saw on the live stream on Tuesday where it had already started to pump, and just at the end of the live stream someone said, can you have a look at EOS? And I was almost like sick in my mouth as they said it, and I had a little look, and it was in the middle of doing some kind of pump, which was pretty impressive. So obviously we're Thursday today, Wednesday, Tuesday, so we were starting this move as the live stream has been created. Now we had looked at this in the past. This is EOS with its Bitcoin pair, and we'd established that this is what I would have considered to be the buy zone, right? Anywhere as low as 457 sats to as high as 491 sats, and buying anywhere sort of outside of that buy zone, you know, with the hope of upwards momentum and uptrend, would be too risky, because it's risky buying EOS at the best of times, that you wouldn't really want to be buying it any higher than this. Again, there was no signals on the chart at this point. This was basically just for I suppose a consolidation after this move up into it. So like we'd already established that there was a buy zone there with its Bitcoin pair, and it's unlikely to break down from this level, at least throughout this alt season that we'd established, a couple of months ago, that there was going to be power in alts, with possibility of continuation. Now EOS has a history of being the last thing to pump. I don't know if that's just hocus pocus, but it seems to be the case, right? So EOS does a ripping tear up move just before that everything just goes right. That's it. The market comes down. I wouldn't read too much into that. It's just a bit of it's just something that's been observed, I suppose. So yeah, we were talking about this on the stream, and I was like surprised to see it. I said, well, look, in all fairness, we have generated a pump signal from this level 554, right, which is more or less the 200 exponential. If we were to break from here, I would imagine a nice move up to this level. And I remember saying, look, it's the mark of the EOS beast, right? The 666 is where we'll be heading to. And then pretty much yesterday, we launched from there. So we'll just measure it from this area here, which is the breakout. We ran up in the space of less than 24 hours, really, 26% on its Bitcoin pair. So that's pretty sweet. And like I say, that hit that target. Now, obviously, I didn't take that trade. I don't know if anyone from the Patreon took the trade, as from what we were seeing there. I mean, I always explain EOS with extreme risk and caution. But yeah, there was a signal there, and there we go. That would be your daily pump signal, most likely played out, most likely, because if you measure it from that area, it's 24% for its Bitcoin pair. It's not massive, but it's decent, I suppose. It could run higher, but it's going to be difficult. So we move it over to the tether pair, and what we see now is a breakout from this exact level. So again, another pump signal, but this time, generated on the tether pair. Now, you could argue that this was formed yesterday and confirmed yesterday at this candle body, and then basically just shot up. So 2 pump signals generated an enormous wick. This one being rejected from this level, which is your 200 exponential on your daily. That's almost 180, and it reached 183. So, I mean, when we look at it like this, as far as anything that would have given us an opportunity to take part of that pump, I would probably argue that the pump has taken place on the chart. So I'm not making this video to say that there's something in it. It's just almost like a request from people people on my Discord or whatever, to explain the chart, because obviously everybody wants more when they see something like this. Now, what I always say and what you should always think about is that wicks tell a story, right? So we can see the size of the wick, and the story of this wick is that sellers outmatch the buyers. There's more sellers at the higher levels than there are buyers, otherwise you'd see a continuation continuation up, right? If we just ignore the wick and just look at the candle bodies, it doesn't look particularly amazing. I mean, it's decent. Let's not beat around the bush, but it's not particularly amazing. And when we talk about signals and momentum, yeah, the momentum still continues to the up on the daily. Money flow index is quite high. Market is looking pretty weird, and 4 hourly is, you see the momentum sort of turning down here with a money flow index read of about 91. So, you know, I'm not going to say that this is definitely over. There's always people that are going to want to scrape the bottom of the barrel for a continuation of this trade. But as far as I was concerned, you know, when it comes to trading on the back of a signal, the signal was played on both Bitcoin and Tether. You know, you might get continuation, you might not. The wick says more or less that the sellers outmatched the buyers from those high levels, and those high levels have hit significant moving averages. You know, one that we established already on the Bitcoin pair, hit, retraced from already, and the 200 exponential on the daily hit, retraced already. So, you know, it's not a bad looking chart, but when it comes to buying into stuff like this, you really do, you know, have to buy, you know, the proper areas. You don't want to be buying into EOS on the way up. EOS is one of those ones that you can buy at a support, you can buy on a signal, but you don't want to be buying halfway or at the end of a trend, because you get wrecked city. I became the EOS man, basically, in the last bull run, because I said there's going to be an EOS move based upon this giant consolidation which is playing out here, an accumulation that's formed around here, and then we got itchy signals for continuation of trend, which led to this. And I suppose from then, you know, people don't, I think when they watch my videos, they assume that I buy and I never sell, right? So I suppose because I don't make videos on, you know, I sold this, thank you everybody, good night. It's all about the setup and, you know where you would entertain specific, specifically, you know, where you would look to limit exposure. And I suppose that's why I have a Patreon, that's why I have a Telegram and Discord and stuff, so people can talk to me about stuff. I don't run a signals group, this is just all my trades, but I did become the EOS man, and so I think a lot of people assume that I'm still heavily into EOS, whereas actually I sold around 12.5 to 13, or sold around there, the majority of my stack. Now I've still got a couple of thousand EOS, no big deal, which obviously are clearly underwater, and I bought them around, you know, $2 to $3. But it's nothing in comparison to the profit that was made over here. So I am not the EOS man, right? When I make a video on something, I don't become the EOS man, the Jasmy man, the XRP man. I present a trade to you which should be viewed upon as a trade. And if I'm not in, other than what I've got left from, I always keep some altcoins riding from, where you buy them at extreme lows and you take profit on the way up. But I always have some for old time's sake, really, because you never know and you can stake them. And of course, I'm sure EOS will rise from the dead at one point in its life, but all I'm saying is, I've not taken this trade. I'm making this video specifically upon request, and if anything, it's one of just be extremely careful and cautious with altcoins in general, to be honest with you, and especially EOS, which likes to trap people big time. So if you want to monitor this chart, there's two places to really think about it, and it might seem unreasonable to imagine this happening, but there's your support for its tether pair, a major support, which we established, must have been on one of our live streams, just below a dollar, so like 90 cents. Or if you want to trade it with your Bitcoin pair, which is completely fine to do, we have a buy zone within this area which we've established already. I wouldn't be wanting to touch EOS really unless we were in there. You might look at this chart and go, well, we're above a 200 exponential here, we're looking quite good, which is true, but EOS gets destroyed when markets pull back. Doesn't matter how strong it was or how strong it is. History has shown this, at least from the last big move up. We responded to signals on the way up. We got strengthening of trend on a weekly, so everything is looking great, but it could not take the crash of the entire market. Why would it? Why would EOS be able to sustain anything other than a giant market collapse? And if you're looking at things that are involving like very large market cap coins like EOS, because surprisingly it does trade quite high almost all the time, it probably was the worst hit of all the sort of top cap coins. It was 75%, I think, in more or less a few days from the top to its bottom. So just be aware that can happen for EOS, and if you do ever want to buy into this stuff, you do it at appropriate areas. Look, I like it for what it's done. You know, I always have a soft spot in my heart for any coin that's made me, you know, hundreds of percent. How could you not? Like, you do feel a fondness for them because they helped you make money, but to get actually, you know, knee deep in EOS, you do have to question why you're doing that. And I would only really do it on a strong signal. And I would argue that this signal that we've seen, although it being strong, could quite easily have played out. And the market, especially Bitcoin, basically is looking a little tired right now. So I'd stay away from it unless you've already taken part in that. And again, people on the live stream will have seen that come in or expected something for it to, you know, for it to have taken place. But for the most part, I think it's done. And if you took that trade, excellent. You know, it hit the targets. You're done and dusted. Great trade, very quick trade. But I wouldn't want to try and get back into this or you know, from these levels at all. No way. There's plenty of other things out there which offer better opportunities, even in this dodgy market right now. Anyway, I'm going to leave with you there. Thanks for watching. Hopefully that was useful, and yeah, take it easy.